Dear IPF member nation representatives, dear friends, dear colleagues, my name is Urban Mur. I'm the president of Slovenian Powerlifting Federation, and today I'm making this video to present you the proposals to amend the IPF constitution, which were submitted by our federation together with some other member nations, and will be voted on at the upcoming General Assembly meeting in Chemnitz in Germany. So, what are the actual proposals? I'm sure you all received the agenda to the IPF General Assembly meeting to your emails, but if not, you can go to the IPF website under Federation and General Assembly. You can click on the agenda, and if you scroll all the way down to the page 57, you can find proposals to amend the IPF constitution, and we submitted proposal number 2 and number 3. You can read the proposals in full and all the goals and reasoning behind the proposals here. But because they are quite complex, to be honest, I decided to make this video to explain them a little bit better. So overall, both proposals make IPF more democratic and give more power back to the member nations. And the proposal number 2, as marked in the IPF General Assembly agenda, wants to ensure that all the members of the IPF Executive Committee are democratically elected by member nations. Currently, as you will see later, they are not. And then proposal number 3 from the IPF General Assembly meeting agenda wants to ensure that the IPF bylaws are amended and modified at the General Assembly by member nations. Currently, they are amended and modified by the Executive Committee. So let's have a look why these proposals are necessary. First, the proposal number 2 about the election of executive committee members. This is the current situation. So our executive committee consists of first 4 executive officers. They are the president, the secretary general, the vice president, and the treasurer. And then we have 6 members representative of the IPF regions. And then finally, we have 8 other members, which are normally chairs of different commissions. And each member nation, in my case, this is Slovenia, can take part in the election for the executive officers. And then also we can elect the board member for our region. In case of Slovenia, this would be a representative of Europe who is elected at the EPF General Assembly. And if your nation comes from a different continent, obviously you will elect another regional member. For example, if you come from Asia, you will have a board member representative for Asia, and then there's one for Africa, Oceania, North America, and South America. And these members are elected in different continents and then just confirmed at the IPF General Assembly. And then what really is the problem is that the rest, the other 8 executive committee members, are appointed and not elected. So why is this problematic? First of all, the situation we currently have is not democratic. Each member nation can only directly vote for 5 out of 18 members of the executive committee. This is less than 1/3. And then in the current situation, for example, when the president decides to step down, out of 17 EC members, only 9 were elected, so this is merely a majority. And the rest, so 8 out of 17 current EC members, were appointed. And this appointment process is not defined. We do not know when it happens, how it happens, who are actually the members of the EC, who appoint the others. It is not very clear. And also the current situation is not in line with the IPF constitution requirements for its member nations. So here's the citation from the IPF constitution, which says that each member nation of the IPF should have the executive committee and the president, which are elected democratically. And IPF should really be an example about how to implement this democracy. But as we can see now, currently it is not. So what is our proposal? This is the proposed situation. So first part would really remain the same. Each member nation would still be able to vote for the executive officers and for their own representative of the region, and the rest of the continents would have their own regional representatives. The change comes here. We propose that the rest of the EC is also elected at the IPF General Assembly. There is one exception to this. In the executive committee, we have 2 athlete speakers, and they should be elected by the athletes. This is also a recommendation by the International Olympic Committee. And after they are elected by the athletes, they should just be confirmed at the IPF General Assembly meeting, similarly to regional representatives. And our proposal takes this into account. So why do we believe that this proposed situation is better? First of all, it's obviously more democratic because now every EC member will be elected. We have a clear election process, so we come to the General Assembly, there are candidates who nominated themselves or were nominated by member nations, and we just vote for the one who we think that is the best candidate. It's in line with the IPF requirements for its members, so the IPF can really be an example and show how the democracy should run. And most importantly, in my eyes, more talent will be able to step up. Currently, many members of the EC have double roles. They have roles in the IPF and maybe in the regional federations and probably even in national federations. And I believe if more talent steps up, we get more people involved, the roles will be more distributed, people will have more time to do their job better, and we can improve as a federation. And now the proposal number 3 about the changes of bylaws. The current situation is that the bylaws are changed and modified by the executive committee. The bylaws are basically the instructions on how to run the federation, how different committees and commissions should run, how events should be run, and the executive committee basically makes these instructions for themselves. What we then the problem is that the bylaws are changed very frequently. For example, in last year, I think we had at least 5 changes. They are changed without the oversight of member nations, so there is no discussion whether these bylaw changes really reflect the needs of the member nations. They're also changed without any notice and with immediate effect. So we just receive an email and we have to act on it immediately and respect it. And normally there are no reasons given for the changes, which means that sometimes member nations don't really understand why the changes were implemented, and this also reduces the trust in the leadership of our federation. So what we propose is the bylaws are changed by member nations at the General Assembly. The reasons for this are that the proposals for changes must be published in advance. For General Assembly, all the proposals must be part of the agenda and published, I think, a month before the meeting. So each member nation has time to read the proposals and to maybe then comment it on the meeting. So all the changes will be publicly discussed, which means that member nations will have their voice and will be able to talk about their problems and so on. And the reasons for changes will be presented, which means that all the member nations will be able to understand why do we need these changes, and this, I think, will also improve the trust in the leadership of our federation. And yes, our proposal still takes into account, still gives the EC an option to act in urgent situations. For example, if the bylaws are found to breach the IPF constitution, some external law or the IOC documents or recommendations, EC can still act on that and for a limited time override the bylaws. What are the next steps? So first of all, I would like to point out that these proposals are already supported by 10 full member nations that co-signed the proposal and one additional provisional member. All these member nations were included in the discussion and the preparation of the proposal. And the proposal, both proposals were also discussed by some of the members of the IPF Executive Committee, current interim president, interim vice president, treasurer, general secretary, and assistant general secretary. They suggested some modifications, which we included in our proposals, so that they really also reflect the needs of the executive committee. And now, the most important part: what can you do to help, or what really you have to do to help? First of all, it's really important to come to the General Assembly meeting. General Assembly meeting will take place on June 11th, so in about 2 weeks. At 10 in the morning in Chemnitz. Is part of the Classic World Championship. And you can also join online. So if your member nation doesn't have a representative in Germany, you can ask our General Secretary, Mr. Keller, and you should be able to join and vote online. You can find the invitation to the General Assembly at the IPF website. And so why is it so important that you come? Is because a quorum of 2/3 of members is required to even vote on constitution. So IPF has, I think, more than 120 members. And this means that at least 80 members need to be represented at the meeting, either in person or online, to even have a vote on constitution. If there are less than about 80 members represented, there will be no vote. So it's really important that as many as possible member nations come to the meeting. And then obviously the second thing would be to vote for proposals number 2 and 3. They need 2/3 majority of all the votes to be accepted. So yeah, this is really it. Please talk to your friends, to your colleagues, from maybe your neighboring nations, from other nations that you know. Invite them to the General Assembly, and please come to express your feelings and vote on these 2 very important amendments to the IPF Constitution. If you have any questions, I am available on these 2 email addresses, and I will also be present in Chemnitz at the meeting, so you can talk to me before the meeting or even in the days before that. So thank you for your attention. Please share the video with your friends, and hope to see you in Chemnitz, and we will have a good General Assembly meeting. Thank you very much.